Welcome to What's Your Mount Rushmore podcast with hosts Mark Duvel and John Hanson.
Are you kidding me?
Two old friends and knuckleheads discussing and covering their top four choices for any and all topics, making up their Mount Rushmore selections each week. Nothing is off limits. As you listen, remember we always want to know, what's your Mount Rushmore?
Just the two of us, building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I.
Hey kids, welcome back. It's a new episode of What's Your Mount Rushmore. This is the podcast that's taking over the country.
Huh?
And on this episode, I hope you brought your appetite, because I can promise you by the end of it, I guarantee you're going to want to snack on something.
Ooh.
I'm one of the hosts. I'm Mark Duvel.
That's a great teaser there. I like that. This is John Hanson, the other host, the other hungry host. And you're right. Just making this list made me get a little bit hungry. The topic for today's episode is our Mount Rushmore of food pairings.
Get in my belly! Come on!
When we say food pairings, what we're thinking of are foods that personally, obviously to us, because it's our Mount Rushmores, foods that we personally have to have together. You know, that you might maybe have them by themselves at times, but when they're together, oh yeah, that's the deal.
It's majestic.
Yeah. And in some cases with mine, I really don't like them apart. I need to have them together even. So, I mean, it's the perfect blend.
And again, broken record time. It's hard to narrow down to four. There's so many things that go together that you eat on a consistent basis, or really get excited about, or really look forward to as a special treat.
Yeah. I mean, and some of these are things I have every week, and other things are maybe not something I have very often, but I still think of them together. So I'm excited to do this list. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait, because again, and I'm already just staring at my list that I wrote down, and I'm already like, can we wrap this up so I can go eat some of this stuff?
Well, yeah, but you say that every week, no matter what the topic is.
That's true. We're just usually not recording when I say it.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll dive in then, I guess.
Please do. Let's see what you got there, you hungry hippo.
I'm first up on the draft board. And so I'm going to go with something that, to me, it's a bar staple. And I get cravings for this every once in a while. It's buffalo wings and blue cheese.
Oh,
and you know, I do love wings in general, but this is specifically about my craving for the buffalo sauce and having to dip it in blue cheese. You know, about once a month, I get a strong craving for wings. I just do. And luckily, my wife Susan likes wings too, so it's not hard to convince her to go out and do it. We got a couple of places here in the Phoenix area that we like, that we go to, that have good wings, and we always get a big bunch of them too. We get like 20 or more wings, so we always have some to take home. We'll get like 3 or 4 different sauces, because she does not like the buffalo sauce, and we go from there. You know, she doesn't like the spiciness of the buffalo.
So I just learned something about your wife Susan, and her and I have something definitely in common, because I love wings, and I'm talking future Mount Rushmore of appetizers. They'd be on it.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. But I actually am totally with her. As much as I love, and I can't say love enough, I love chicken wings, but I do not like buffalo wings. And I know I've always felt like I'm one of the rare odd ducks for that, especially when you love wings so much. It's just that flavor. And again, not to steal your riff moment on your pick, but like even one of my first jobs in life was at a restaurant, a little dive place in a strip mall called CC Wings. If you really pay attention to this podcast, you've heard me thank them as a sponsor before. But it introduced me on how to truly make like full-size wings and deep fry them and season them. And then with all the dipping sauces that can go with them, I fell in love immediately, to the point where why I'm even bringing all this up, you said something, is every few weeks I do legitimately crave wings. Yeah. And I go out of my way to go to it's not a new place, but it's the only place that I know of that still prepares and makes the wings the way that I used to at CC Wings. It's now a place in a city you actually used to live in Blaine, Minnesota. It's called Wing Joint.
Oh,
and
yeah,
again, just like CC Wings, it's this little dive place in a strip mall. But man, if you appreciate good seasoned wings and full size ones, I'm not talking drummies. that is the place, man. And there's a little free plug.
Late because I went to go get some chicken wings.
All things considered. But yeah, I'm with her. I don't like the buffalo thing, but I get it. So many people do. I'm outnumbered.
It's a spicy thing. Some people just don't like spicy foods, and buffalo wings definitely have some heat to them. I'm guessing that's probably one of the things you don't like about them.
Of course. Spicy. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys. When I see people eat hot stuff, I don't understand it. Like, why would you want your mouth to be uncomfortable? But whatever.
Why would you want to cry while you're eating food? That's what I
cry and sweat.
Yeah. I don't get that either. I mean, to me, buffalo wings are just the right amount of heat for me. And of course, you can get them in different variations. You can get some that are really, really hot. I just like the standard medium heat. Given the choice with my wings, I like them dry, and then I'll dip it into the sauce separately. Dip the blue cheese in the buffalo sauce, or the other sauces. Like when we go out and Susan get some other sauces like teriyaki or barbecue or whatever, just because it's less messy to get them dry and then do the dipping yourself. To me,
exactly. Because you go the other route, you need like a towel for your hands and your face, just because the sauce is all over the damn place by the end of it.
It is. Sometimes you need a towel anyway. It's a very messy way to eat. And you mentioned drummies. I'll eat drummies, but I much prefer the wings or the flats, I guess they call them.
Yeah. Agreed.
I would rather have a full order of the flats, or I still call them wings and drummies, but the flats apparently is the new modern thing to say. I don't know.
Hipsters call them flats.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll stop using that word.
Don't go down that road.
And as a lot of people realize, it does come from buffalo. There's no debate about that. There's a debate about who started the buffalo wing concept within the city of Buffalo, but it was definitely originated in Buffalo, probably back in the 1950s or 60s, and then really made popular. I think a lot of people like ranch dressing. I always like blue cheese, though. It's just my way. I guess with either case, you can't go wrong. It's about the sauce that's on the wing, and then the cooling sauce with the ranch or blue cheese, and then you're golden. Do you like blue cheese or ranch? Which one do you go?
I like both. I'd prefer ranch, and that's why I think I dig the just fried seasoned wings, because you can change every bite with whatever you dip it into. You can go barbecue, you can go sweet and sour, you can go ranch.
Yeah.
On and on. And then there's such a variation of barbecues. You can go hot, you can go spicy, you can go sweet.
Oh yeah.
You can go honey.
There's like garlic sauce that we like, and there's all kinds of great sauces, and you mentioned that a lot of people like buffalo. With just the fact that there's 50 other kinds of sauces on, some of these restaurants, it just goes to show that buffalo is not the only way. There's a lot of people that are probably like you. I don't think you're in the minority there.
Just wings in general are a staple. They're badass.
Yeah. All right. Well, I had to put wings up on the board. That was the first thing I thought of when we had this idea. So what's your number one slot?
Ooh, if you're going number one slot, I guess I'm going to go with this one just because of the regularity of how much I eat these two things together, because it's a lot. It's not one of those that you treat yourself to. It's more of a daily thing. And I'm just going old school breakfast, man. It's my ideal breakfast. It's bacon and eggs. And we've heard that saying our whole life, and you throw, granted, this is food pairings, which imply two, but man, you throw a little nice piece of buttered toast into the mix. And as long as you cook these eggs properly and you do it over easy so that the yolk is still a little runny, you dip that into the toast. Whew, that's a good way to start a day, any day.
Eggs, bacon, and toast. Why don't you start your day the good Gitch way with eggs, bacon, and toast?
Very good. We sing that every morning.
Here's a little fun fact on this. And it's not a fact. I guess it's just something I'm sharing. Is when I eat bacon and eggs, it's either that way. It's bacon, which is just you cook bacon. It's all going to end up in the same results, whether you fry it, whether you microwave it, whether you throw it on your Blackstone, which I have and love, by the way. That is some of the best bacon I've had is on that thing. But it's always, the egg is always going to be over easy or scrambled. There is really no other alternative for me.
Sure. Me too.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand?
But where I'm going with the little thing I learned, of all things, talk about how random, and it shows you have clearly watched this series more than once. The character Ralph from Sopranos, there is a scene where he's in his own kitchen in his own home, and Tony Soprano visits him, and it's in the morning, and he's making breakfast for his son, Ralph is, and he's making scrambled eggs, and as he's making them, he makes a quick comment to Tony about how much his son loves his scrambled eggs, and then acknowledges because the secret ingredient is sour cream. And I've never heard that my whole life until I saw that episode of The Sopranos. So then next time I was making scrambled eggs, I'm like, I'm going to add a bunch of sour cream and just mix it all together. That whoever wrote that line for that character in Sopranos, they knew what they were talking about, because that changed the game. I'm not kidding. If you're a fan of scrambled eggs, I promise you, add, just a good dose of sour cream, mix it all together, and man, it just fluffs them up. And the flavor, it's incredible. And it's from The Sopranos, believe it or not.
Take it easy.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. I've had sour cream with eggs, but it was part of like a more of a Southwestern type dish, whether it was in maybe it might have been like a burrito or that huevos rancheros or something like that had sour cream. So I know that it does work together. I didn't realize that it was mentioned in The Sopranos, but yeah. See, it'd be funny where you might find a new food pairing to try.
Yeah, it literally was just a random quick scene. It's not. I wouldn't expect anybody to remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it ends up it turns into a really big scene where those two get in a huge fight, physical fight in the kitchen
over eggs.
Not over eggs. The topic they're fighting over is much more gangster than that. But
wow.
But yeah, it was just enough for me to go, I want to try that. I wonder what that tastes like. And I've never made scrambled eggs different since I saw that episode of Sopranos.
Oh, really? So now that's you have to make it with sour cream.
I won't make them without it now.
I'm going to try that because like you, when I get eggs, it's either scrambled or over easy. Like if you go to the restaurant, they ask you how your eggs are. I can flip a coin because I'll go either way is fine by me. I like them both ways.
Yeah.
But I haven't tried it with sour cream. I did hear, this was years ago now, and I tried this one time. It said it was a scrambled eggs and peanut butter. Not a lot of peanut butter, but just a little bit of peanut butter. Yeah, exactly. It sounds nuts. And no pun intended, peanuts, But I tried it. Meh. I wouldn't say it wasn't like disgusting, but not my thing. But if you look that up, if you look up eggs and peanut butter, it's actually a pretty popular thing. People do that all the yeah.
People are weird. Just stay in your lane, people. Like not everything needs to merge.
No.
Come on. Like they're both really good things. That doesn't mean they belong together.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, nor do I. That's not even intriguing to try.
It'd be interesting if anyone listening has had that, especially if they actually like it. Please comment and let us know why. What's the deal there?
Yeah.
Again, I did try it because I was curious, and it was kind of a meh. It didn't really add anything. It didn't add anything to the peanut butter. It didn't add anything to the eggs. Like you said, I like them both separately. Put it on some toast, have my eggs separate, and I'm good to go.
And please comment on it just so I can officially know in the back of my head, go, all right, there's another weirdo I know in life. Add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the long list.
So yeah, there's my first pick, bacon and eggs, man. What do you got? What's number 2 for you?
I love it. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot of picking your number 1 thing as far as ranking, because we try not to rank these.
That's all right. That's all right.
That would make it harder to do. This list is hard enough to do as it is, but ranking would be tougher. But so this one, my next one is just in the mix in the 4. It's not number 2 necessarily on my list, but it's grilled cheese and tomato soup. And the reason why
it's a solid one, man.
They just kind of they work together. The tomato soup has a little bit of sweetness with the savory, and obviously you get the grilled cheese, and you can dip them together, or you could just have them as a meal and not dip them. I mean, they're great dip together, but any way you eat them, it's pretty good. This pick, honestly, it just flat out reminds me of my childhood. It's just one of those combos that as a kid you'd have for lunch, like on a cold winter day, and it was just a great way to have a lunch when you're a kid. I'll be honest, I don't necessarily have them together that often in my current life because I just don't eat a lot of, I'll eat grilled cheese on occasion. I don't eat a lot of tomato soup, but it just is so ingrained in my fiber from being a kid. So that's why I had to kind of add it to my list. I don't really get cravings for these.
I have a feeling my wife Molly would have this on her Mount Rushmore because I know that's like one of her favorite little combos. There is grilled cheese and tomato soup, and I think here's why. Maybe one, I like it. I respect it's not on my list, but I respect the pick. It's kind of just old school comfort food.
And I think you're right. I think that's why it reminds me of my childhood. It's that comfort food.
Yeah. I think there's something to that. And I love grilled cheese sandwiches. Love.
I was wondering if you could make me a grilled cheese sandwich.
But I'm kind of, again, I'm weird that way. I actually don't do that. I don't dip it.
No?
I
mean, do you eat them plain? Like sometimes, if let's pretend you just have the cheese sandwich on your plate and nothing else. Do you put it like a little ketchup or anything?
No. If I add or change anything, it's the type of cheese I'm using to mix it up.
Yeah.
Or I add bacon to the mix.
Yeah. Yep. We're a restaurant where we used to work in Butler Square. It used to be Champs Restaurant. I don't think there's any restaurant there anymore.
Champs Alley.
Champs, they had a really good grilled cheese with bacon and a tomato. And that was that was a good combo. I mean, it was so simple. You kind of almost felt guilty paying, a restaurant price for something you could make in 6 minutes in your.
Because it's just some ass clown back there flipping bread in a pan with some cheese in it.
Yeah.
But man, was it good.
It was good. It was good. I don't remember there being tomato soup with that in particular, but it was just a good sandwich. See, I don't mind dipping the grilled cheese with a little bit of ketchup, and then here's where I make it a little bit weird: is I'll add some Tabasco to the ketchup, kind of mix it in just to give the ketchup a little bit of heat, not a lot, not to the point where I'm eyes are watering, but just a little bit of just to take a little something off of the sweet ketchup. So anyway, but it's a pick that it didn't really. It wasn't one that popped into my brain right away, but as I thought about these, it did. The concept of grilled cheese is old. It goes back to the 1860s, and really was a popular meal in the Great Depression because it was cheap. It was cheap for people to make. It was cheap for
makes sense.
And even in World War II, combining tomato soup and grilled cheese became a thing because it was cheap and easy for the military to serve it to their soldiers. So it was an easy, quick meal for them to do out in the field. And when the military guys came home, they said, "Hey, man, we used to have this grilled cheese and tomato soup when we were out in the field, and it was actually pretty damn good for an army meal, and it became a popular thing. And then, of course, schools started serving it, and it took off from there."
Good pick, Bill. I mean, that's yummy. Again, I literally am getting hungry. I'm really hungry. I'm not even kidding.
Well, good thing it's almost lunchtime.
Jeez. So... Well, that's a good choice. I'm going to dive into my next one. And my next one was hard because it was almost in its own little category of different food pairings to me that represent sweet and salt. Okay? Because obviously that's a thing.
Yeah.
Big thing. I mean, I know a lot of people love pairing things that are sweet and then salt. The big debate is always, what do you end with? What do you want your palate left with? Sweet or salt? That's always a legit debate.
Oh, yeah?
Like, how do you want to end the meal? What's your last bite when you're eating something that's salty and sweet? Do you want to be left with the salty taste or the sweet taste? I'm salt. But that's me. But to represent that combo, I'm going to go with, it was hard because there's several, but the one I'm going to go with because it's the most special to me and I don't eat it that much. It's when you mix French fries with a malt.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Just, man, that's a treat, man. It's like you're rewarding yourself for something when you have that little, so simple but so damn good, so delicious. And when I think of this, when I think of French fries and a malt, there's honestly two places, two restaurants locally here in the Twin Cities that just immediately come to mind. There is nostalgic ties to it. The first one, and I know you're going to know it. It's the 50s Grill.
Oh, of course.
In Brooklyn Center, adjacent to Brookdale Mall, which is no longer a thing.
My good buddy, who you and I know, Mike Geldert, he worked at 50s Grill when we were in high school. He was a soda jerk. And the joke I always say is he was a soda jerk then, and now he's just a jerk.
Soda jerk then, complete jerk now.
Yeah, but that was awesome when he worked there. That was cool.
And it was a cool little place. I loved that. The other one is, there's not as many as there once was, and the original did close in St. Paul, unfortunately. And it's Snuffy's.
Oh yeah, of course.
Little malt shop, perfect burger malt place. Again, salty fries. Get a malt. It's a treat.
Yeah, you dip them.
Period. I don't need to say more. It's just if you like French fries and you like malts. I don't know how the hell you would never want to eat them together.
Well,
or
most of the time,
not want to eat them together. Like,
yeah. Well, if you're at a place like the 50s Grill or Snuffy's, yeah, you're probably getting a burger, you're getting fries, you're getting a malt. Bingo. Done.
Yeah.
What else do you need? And so you dip the fries in the malt like a lot of people do?
That's I know that's a popular thing, and I think that became a big thing when Wendy's, came out with their little Frosties, and they have a very salty fries.
Yeah.
I don't. I want to eat them individually, but together. I don't do the dipping thing. That's weird to me.
So you pop a fry in your mouth and then take a sip of the malt so they're all in your mouth together?
Yep. And then I have to make sure that the last thing is a fry.
But if you're popping the fry in your mouth and then you're taking a sip, so it's all in your mouth together?
No, not together.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because that would be the same thing as dipping it.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's why I'm saying no. I eat one at a time. Eat the fry, have a malt.
So another. I think the point there is that the salt gives you a quick craving for sweet, and the sweet gives you a quick craving for salt. So you just alternate until they're both gone.
Yeah, it's food's version of having a burn and pouring cold water on it immediately.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a interesting way to look at it. Painful way to look at it. I'm not sure that I'd want to compare any of my food pairings to something that is painful and can leave a lasting scar. Yeah, I don't. But if that's what it brings to mind for you, I guess so be it. Well, you know what? I do know you have a history of putting very hot foods into your mouth before they have cooled off. So maybe that's what you're talking about. Maybe you've tossed some hot fries in your mouth and then you had to immediately take a sip of the malt because your tongue was burning.
God, that's right. You say that, and you were actually with me on one of the worst. I do that, sadly, kind of weekly. My mouth is just one giant, burn blister at this point.
Scar tissue.
It's all scarred over. But yeah, God, I'll never forget. You and I, we were working in radio together, and we were doing an outdoor music festival at Canterbury.
Can I tell the story? Because
please do, because I don't want to tell it. It'll make me just start watering at the eyes.
So you're right. We were at when we used to do these outdoor music festivals. We were in radio. We sponsored these festivals. So we weren't sponsored. We put them on. So we were working at these every day and at Canterbury Park. And we were there and we went to get something to eat, had a little time off break, and we got pizza. And by the way, this is why I wanted to tell the story. This was my piece of pizza. I don't know if you remember this or not.
I don't.
And our friend Chris Segla was there. She may remember it, but it was my piece of pizza. So, it was a big slice, and we had just got it, and it was obviously hot. And I was holding it, and you grabbed it, and I knew enough not to take a bite out of this thing. Not all of us knew that. Apparently, you did not know that. You grabbed this pizza that was still sizzling. By the way, the cheese was sizzling, the pepperoni, and you take a big ass bite of it immediately, like pizza will do, stuck to the roof of your mouth, like molten lava.
Oh my God.
And here's the worst part. You then took the piece of pizza and you flung it against a wall because you were so pissed at yourself for taking a bite of it. This is why I wanted to tell the story, because it was my slice of pizza.
You dick!
Actually, now that I think about it, you owe me a slice of pizza. Let's just, that's the deal. You grabbed my slice of pizza that I was patiently waiting to cool off, took a bite of it, burned your mouth, and then flung it against a wall, and then I got nothing. I was left with nothing.
That's just a dick. That's a dick move. I'm Steve Polychronopoulos. Well, you got to remember at that moment, I do remember everything you just said. It doesn't surprise me that I would be the prick that would take a piece of your pizza and eat it. But it is the number one example of me burning my mouth, because that literally messed me up though. Like I had blisters on the top of my mouth, and I was so uncomfortable for the rest of that day, that weekend.
Yeah,
because that's not like that heal. I mean, thank God your mouth heals quick, because that was bad news, man. And here's the dumbest thing. It's so embarrassing to admit how many times I continue to burn my mouth. Like you would think. Someone with at least average intelligence would just let food cool down. Well, but you put hot food in front of me, it's like a trap. It's like a test, and I fail the test every time. So my wife, she constantly, her and my son now, they will rally again. They will team up, and when we're together, and if hot food is put in front of me, you can almost see them elbow each other to be like, watch this dipshit. He's going to take a bite. And then I do. And then I complain that I burned my mouth.
Oh, poor you.
I'm an absolute dumbass.
Well, if the aliens are watching us and they want to trap any humans for their zoo, that's all they got to do is dangle a hot slice of pizza out there, and they'll trap you with it.
God,
you know, everybody's burned their mouth on hot food or hot liquids or something in the past. The only time I've done it that was probably as bad as yours was a few years ago at a festival, a concert festival, and I took I don't even remember what it was. It was like hot gravy and fries or something. The point is, popped in my mouth. Immediately flung it out, spit it out. I had a beer in my hand, so I probably drank half the beer to try and cool my mouth off. But it actually didn't burn the roof of my mouth. This was worse. It burned, hard to explain this, but the side of my gums on the inside, on the upper part. So it was actually the gum that burned. And that it took about a week for that to heal. I even called the dentist a couple days later, and I said, "How long is this going to take?" Because there's a blister that is disgusting and it hurts, and I had to chew everything on the other side of my mouth for like a week. So I'm with you, man. It's awful.
Yeah, because again, that moment it'll forever be, that moment, the worst burnt mouth I've ever had, because it was steaming.
Yeah, oof.
And I mean, everyone's done this, and I do it a lot, like I said, but nothing compares to that, because the damage that it did to the top of my mouth, the roof of your mouth. Oh my God,
terrible.
It was so bad and so uncomfortable. But
well, I'll give you a chance to stop reliving it by moving on to my third pick.
Please do. Yeah, because thanks for walking me down trauma lane there.
Well,
I'm no longer hungry. Now I'm just ashamed.
Shame. Well, my next one will not burn anyone's mouth. It's actually something that I've liked again since I was a kid. It's the combination of chocolate and peanut butter.
Oh, dude. All right. I got to jump in. This is on mine too.
Oh, it is? Cool. All right. Great.
It is. I mean, this one, how do you not?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if people have peanut allergies, which, that's more common now than it certainly was when we grew up. But this is about as American classic. This has to be on most people's. I got to think. I was assuming you would pick this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you assumed that. I wasn't sure if we'd have any matches on this list because food pairings is sort of a personal thing. But I guess this would be the one you might match. We'd probably have a lot of people that would match on this because you get that combo of Reese's Pieces or the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. It just makes sense. They just go so well together. It's, the kind of a little bit of the sweet and salty to a certain extent because there is some saltiness to the peanut butter. But
there's an element of there.
And if you have really good peanut butter and really good chocolate, I mean, it's just a great combo. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan of chocolate. I don't eat a lot of chocolate, but I do like it with peanut butter. So I can't really, I can't turn that down. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are either the number 1 or number 2 candy sold in the U.S., depending on which source you look at. I saw a couple different rankings. M&M's are the one that's right there with them.
Well, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, that's my goat. I mean, that to me, that is the best, like, it's not a candy bar per se, but you know what I mean? Yeah. It's that type of candy that, So like when the kid comes back from trick-or-treating, he knows he better hide his Reese's Peanut Butter Cups because they're about to all go bye-bye real quick. And you're right. You can just take a chocolate bar. I don't care who makes it. If it's, one of the many companies that make chocolate, you take pieces of chocolate and just dip it in actual jars of peanut butter. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, it is.
It's the best.
Chocolate.
Peanut butter.
Hey!
Oh, hey, you got your chocolate and my peanut
You got
butter.
peanut butter on my chocolate.
What? Delicious.
Two great tastes that taste great together. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
And using those combos in ice cream. Chocolate ice cream that's like got tons of peanut butter in it. Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup ice cream that I've had and I've liked. That's good ice cream.
It is definitely in that category of sweet and salty, but I still think it's overpowered with sweet because of the chocolate.
Yeah, they just work so well together, and the creaminess of the peanut butter too. I like it all together. Did you know that chocolate actually is as much as 5,000 years old.
No, I did not know that.
It goes back to like Central America. They would grow the cocoa beans and cocoa plant or whatever. And initially it wasn't even a sweet. They fermented it into an alcohol. So it was like a chocolate alcohol. So it was not only was it tasty, but it also got them drunk. So, hey, well, kind of a win-win for those people back in the day.
Good job there, ancient people.
and we have to thank a guy named Harry Reese, which is coincidental because he's the Reese's peanut butter cup and Reese's Pieces guy. He's the one that first combined peanut butter and chocolate in 1928. And then he actually created an automated process of combining the two, which is how we had Reese's peanut butter cups. So they go back, damn near 100 years now that we've had this awesome combination.
Here's my biggest beef, though. As much as they are my favorite, the GOAT, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I will say this. You can also get burned. Now, when you buy one, there are ones, and I don't know how to describe. I'll do my best to describe it. The peanut butter is different sometimes. Sometimes it's like really fresh. You can tell it's good peanut butter. And then there's times you buy it, and it's like, how old is this? And it does taste different.
Yeah.
And there's times, as much as that is my favorite candy, I can buy a Reese's if I take that first bite and it's not the kind of peanut butter, I won't eat it.
Yeah.
That's how much it's different to me. So even though it's my favorite, their quality control, because of how many they produce a day, I don't know what happens, but it is. There is no in between. It's either awesome or it's that.
I think I know what you mean. It's sort of dried out. The peanut butter is or something.
It tastes different though.
Well, I think that I gotta believe that has to do with age. I think you're just getting an old one. So I wouldn't necessarily, it's quality control as much as you just grabbed one that was on the shelf for a couple of years.
And you just never know though, until you take that first bite of what the chocolate or what the peanut butter inside of it is what's the texture basically.
No, you're right. Because the chocolate's going to be the same and it's going to look the same. But yeah.
Well, doesn't matter. I still buy. I mean, they're still my favorite. So even with all the, false starts and this isn't a good one, it don't matter.
It's worth the risk.
It's worth the gamble.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you picked chocolate and peanut butter. I had the match. So I believe you're to your final pick already on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Food pairings, final pick.
Well, let's wrap this bad boy up. So now I'm going back to the savory side with this. So mine last pick is simply breadsticks and marinara sauce. And
classic.
And a really good breadstick can be eaten plain, if it's loaded up with the garlic and the butter sauce and it's got all this, fattening, juicy, hot, some Parmesan. If it's got all that stuff going on or even some other kind of cheeses, hell, you can eat it by itself. But why would you? If you have a perfectly good cup of marinara next to you, why the hell would you not dip it? I mean, they just go so well together. It kind of almost reminds you of a pizza in that sense because you get a little bit of the, the buttery dough and when it's warm, and marinara sauce actually goes back to Italy in 1692. It was the first time that there was a cookbook that published a marinara recipe. However, they didn't have tomatoes are not native to Europe. So tomatoes came from the quote New World. So when they came over to the North America and South America, that's where they got the tomatoes and brought them back to Europe. So as much as the Italians might want to claim marinara to be their own, they wouldn't even have tomatoes if it wasn't for us on this part of the world over here.
Can you repeat the part of this stuff where you said all about the things?
Take that,
Italian stallion.
Well, you're right. Breadsticks and marinara. It's not on my list, and I can't debate it because it's damn good. And there's a lot of places who make them and serve them right.
And there's those really thin, kind of crispy breadsticks too, like the almost thin, pencil thin type ones. But I'm obviously referring to the thick, doughy, cooked, warm, juicy, buttery stuff. And that actually is an American invention. Those kind of crispier breadsticks are European, but it was the Americans. And of course, leave it to Americans to take something and make it better, but also far less healthy. But
that's what we do here.
That's America, damn it.
Come on down to the Olive Garden and get your free breadsticks.
Hey, I want some breadsticks.
You want some breadsticks?
Yes, I would love some breadsticks.
Well, good pick, man. Well, I'll wrap it up because I'm going to go back to this is kind of a nostalgic pick for me. And it's nostalgic, but it's something I still very much will eat to this day and be excited about it. It's the combination of fried shrimp and cocktail sauce. And here's why. And this is one of those things, I actually remember the first time I ever had it. And again, I'm kind of going back to that area, not far from what we were talking about with 50s Grill, just down the road, actually, literally. And this was kind of a little family tradition. Now, I grew up with two older siblings that they got married and moved out of the house when I was still kind of a young kid. So it left me with my mom and dad, and one of our little kind of weekly routines was a lot of times on Saturday evening, we'd go to our little church, the little mass at church. And then following that, we would go to the Ponderosa.
Ponderosa, wow.
Ponderosa on Brooklyn Boulevard, which sadly no longer exists. But when I would get there, I remember the first time ever, I don't know if it was my mom or dad or that specific detail, they put fried, breaded shrimp in front of me with some cocktail sauce. And I actually didn't know what it was. I thought it was like chicken nuggets at first. Didn't really pay that close attention. I knew they looked different. But when I took that first bite, I went, whoa, what are these? This isn't chicken? And then I was told it was shrimp. And I immediately fell in love. I had that Wayne's World Gary Wright Dreamweaver moment where I'm like, this is incredible. And still to this day, shrimp is one of my favorite foods. I eat it a lot. I eat it weekly.
Really?
And
wow.
I do. And I don't eat it. I don't eat it always as breaded fried shrimp. I can eat. I feel like Bubba from Forrest Gump. I love shrimp. So when that movie came out and you saw that dude's like passion and love for shrimp, I immediately loved Bubba Gump.
Wow.
Or Bubba Gump shrimp. Or
yeah.
How would you like to go into the shrimping business with me? All the shrimp you can eat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I like shrimp too. I like it fried. I don't mind it raw with the cocktail sauce too. I think that's perfectly
shrimp
good.
Cocktail, boom. So basically, I'm just saying shrimp and cocktail sauce. It doesn't have to be fried shrimp.
Yeah. I was wondering how when you made a point to say fried for sure, but yeah, shrimps and cocktail sauce go good together, and I'm not sure I'd want to eat either one of them separately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really think I do, unless it's like a shrimp pasta or it's something that's incorporated with shrimp.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two, it's like they were made for each other.
They were. I wonder, it makes me wonder now, what does cocktail sauce, what purpose does it serve without shrimp? Is it used anywhere else? I wonder. I don't even know. I've never seen it.
That's a great question because I've never had as much. It's on my Mount Rushmore of something I love. Here we are talking about it, but I've never had it with anything else other than shrimp.
Yeah, me either. I've never seen it with anything else.
I wouldn't want to.
No,
I've ate enough food. Believe me.
I do believe you. I do believe you. You've eaten enough food.
Well, it's a little unfair because you're looking at me right now on a screen.
You damn right, wise ass.
Prick.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I believe you. And I'm kind of curious. I might have to research that. What the hell is cocktail sauce used for, if not shrimp? So maybe there is nothing.
Deep dive into cocktail sauce. By the end of the week, I want a 500-word essay from you about the origin and reason cocktail sauce exists and what else it's supposed to be paired with.
I'll give you 500 words, all right, but I'm not sure if you're going to like most of them.
Is it two letters just over and over? F-U, F-U, F-U.
Yes. Written on the chalkboard, Bart Simpson style.
I wrote that myself a few times. I don't need to read it again.
No.
Like I said at the top of this, going down your list, my list, hell, everything on your list I'd love to eat right now, except the buffalo wings. Just give me the wings.
Yeah.
And everything on my list, that might be a thing this weekend. I just go gluttony stage 4.
Oh, God, great idea.
And dive into these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's happened before. Like we've covered a lot of topics now up to this point. And when we air these, obviously, we listened because we put these together. There's a lot of times after hearing an episode of our podcast, I crave, whether it's I go back and watch something, I go back and listen to something.
Yeah.
It does, because again, a lot of what we talk about, and this is what's cool. It's a perfect, transition into this. The whole point of the podcast, what's your Mount Rushmore? I am not interested in trying to put a Mount Rushmore together that represents like the popular opinion. we're putting together our list to represent our own personal choices, which is kind of the whole fun of this. Contribute, be a part of it, share what what are your food pairings? Because I know we recently did a non-music duo episode, and I remember some people shared food pairings as a non-music duo, and I was like, okay, I get why they would have interpreted it that way, because a food pairing duo, I see it.
Yeah.
Well, now we're being literal. Go with it.
Yeah.
Now open the floodgates. Let's see what everyone likes to pair together when they want a snack. And
how about a food pairing that's also a music duo? Salt and pepper.
Oh, look at you! Look at you, you witty bastard!
You dumb shit! You. All right, let's go eat.
And on this one, I would like to. We'll catch you on the flip side. Please check us out on the socials. Please follow us on one of our pages where you find us. That way, you get updates and you know when we have a new episode, which at this point is kind of a weekly basis thing. I'd like to thank Tom Thumb Food Stores.
Is that a thing?